Our school community as a whole celebrates today with our graduates. And so I'd like to begin our celebration. Please join me in welcoming the people who make this a great environment for kids, the SCIS faculty. At this time, I invite each of you to stand and join me and the SCIS Concert Orchestra to greet the class of 2017. Parents, faculty, SCIS Board Chair Larry Bali, our Hung Chow faculty colleagues, including our head of school, Catherine Brewer, students, families, friends, and of course, our graduating seniors, welcome to today's celebration. I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon to honor the Shanghai Community International Schools graduating class of 2017. As a school community, we come together to celebrate and to share and officially recognize the accomplishments of the young adults seated to my left. It's a wonderful event for our entire community, but it's an especially significant one for our graduates, because while you have all shared your thanks with your parents and teachers and friends, it's really you and only you that knows the countless hours you've put in to be on the stage today. You've persevered through some tough challenges, and you're leaving here with a strong education, genuine friendships, and experiences and memories that are going to last you the rest of your life. And that, indeed, makes a day like today very significant. You should be very proud of what you've accomplished. As educators, and parents, and friends, we are. The next step lies ahead, and certainly life beyond the walls of SCIS will present you with challenges, but you're ready for them. So today represents the culmination of your high school experience. Today, as an entire community, we're here to celebrate with you. Today is really for you. So relax, enjoy it, put a smile on your face. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the class of 2017. So throughout today's ceremony, we'll be celebrating the accomplishments of this group as a whole, while we acknowledge some of its most outstanding members. And to begin with, I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce the SCIS Leadership Award. A leader is someone who inspires action and moves others to take part. The SCIS Leadership Award goes to an outstanding member or members of the graduating class who embrace change and effectively lead others through ideas and action to make a positive and lasting impact on SCIS. And for 2017, we have two award winners, Abby Merritt and Micah Vlas, and I'd like to introduce them both to you. Abby joined SCIS in 7th grade, and during her time here, she's been a passionate and active voice in sharing her ideas and shaping SCIS. As the treasurer of the high school student council for the past 2 years, she's known for her detailed spreadsheets and her long contracts that she draws up. She's been a founding member and the leader of the MAC 5, the brass combo that will be performing today, and it will be performing her original composition. She's been the president of the Model United Nations, and she served as the chair at several Westlake MUN conferences. And perhaps most telling, Abby's leadership was furthered by her classmates who voted her the most likely and best at making things happen. And proving that leaders need to be true to themselves, I challenge you to find another individual such as Abby, a feminist, French horn playing musician, trained as a skilled boxer, truly one of a kind. And our second leadership award goes to Micah Vlas. As the current student council president, she's been a leader in Stuco since grade 6. As a side note, Micah entered SCIS in grade 1, and we're pretty sure that if there was such a thing as Stuco in grade 1, Micah would have found a way to solve playground disputes or figure out who was the line leader in some equitable manner. She's a 3-sport athlete for all 4 of her years here at SCIS Pudong, and she's been the captain of 2 of those teams. And her teachers and her classmates will all likely tell you she is a natural leader by her words and actions. She is thoughtful and gracious, managing to somehow push others around her to be better while balancing that with a maturity and a respect that is difficult to put into words and really just needs to be seen. So please join me in welcoming our co-recipients for this year's SCIS Leadership Award, Abby Merritt and Micah Vlas. Shouldn't I? Because there were two recipient winners, we've asked Abby to kind of present on behalf of both of them. So please welcome Abby.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Luby for presenting the award, and it's an honor to receive it with Micah, one of my closest friends throughout the years, and one of the most wonderful, admirable women I know. It's really an honor to receive it with him. And second of all, I have a question for all the adults in the room. People will say 25 and up. How many of you actually remember a speech from your high school graduation? Okay, good. There's very few, so the good part about this is no one will remember it. So, it takes the pressure off. I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, then it'll start a chain reaction of the same. People will never know how far a little kindness can go. Rachel Joy Scott wrote these words in an essay mere months before she was murdered in the Columbine High School massacre back in 1999. A few months ago, I came across an article about her, and it really stuck with me. Rachel was a young woman who was far ahead of her time and truly cared about people. If you read her journal entries, she wanted nothing more than to love as many people as possible. Rachel would have fit in well at SCIS for one reason, because she cared about people the same way we do. I believe that there's nothing more important than whether or not we care about other people. Let me clarify what I mean by caring. I don't mean that you have to like every person you meet. That is truly impractical. I mean that we should love others the same way that we love ourselves. You can love yourself while still admitting your faults and while realizing that you have many negative attributes, as we all do. This kind of love for others in which you recognize faults but still see the good, that is the type of caring that I want to talk about. We live in a world today that wants to tell everyone they don't matter. Our broken world wants you to think that if you don't have a certain amount of money in the bank account, or if your skin isn't a certain color, or if you don't have a six-pack, that you don't matter. And I think that caring is a radical way of telling the world that it's wrong. When you care about others, you are telling the world that everyone matters. Each individual is precious, and there's someone out there who loves you more than you probably know. Individuals are valuable. No matter what you look like, where you come from, or what your circumstances are, you are valuable. And when we stop and care about people to show them that they matter, that's one way we are punching the world in the face and saying that it's wrong. In my time at SCIS, I've been cared for immensely in different ways by different people. Teachers like Mr. Benson, who would slip books about theology into my backpack when I wasn't looking, because it was a field I was interested in, and then spend hours talking about these books with me. Teachers like Mr. Dobson, who I don't think has said anything negative about anyone, like ever. And teachers like Mr. Demas, who tolerate my ill-timed jokes in jazz band about our set list order. As a student here, we also care about each other. Whether it's giving someone a jar of corny jokes written on sticky notes, or listening to someone complain about their grade on an English quiz for half an hour. We all find ways to show each other we care in unique ways. What I'll leave you with is this. You never know how someone will be affected by your actions. So why not try to be a blessing in the lives of everyone you meet? I agree with Rachel Joy Scott. When you take the time to care about people, it can start a chain reaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby, and thank you for your message. That won't be the last time we see Abby up here tonight. There are a lot of awards to be given out tonight. One that we have not formalized this year, but if we had, it would go to Ben Meacham's family, and that is for the best represented family in the room this evening. So I'd like to give them a shout out. The award that I'm here to present is that of Class Historian. And it is not without irony that I present this award, as this is my first year here at SCIS, while I'm sharing the stage with students, some of which have been here since as early as kindergarten. I'm grateful having got to know you this year, even if it's only been for the 1 year, because you've taught me so much about what it means to be part of this SCIS community. It's easy for someone to look at the seniors that are here today being honored and forget they weren't always the refined version of themselves that we see here on the stage. Remembering where we come from, the embarrassments as much as the achievements, the failures as much as the triumphs, helps us stay true to who we are. That's why this award for Class Historian, which I'm about to present, is so important. I know the historian for the class of 2017 will never let you forget where you came from or who you really are. Knowing Bowder, he won't let you forget those embarrassing moments either. Speaking of embarrassing moments, Ms. Valenza shared with me a picture of you of your less refined self when you were back in middle school. I had thought about trying to get it projected, but rather than do that, I'll leave that image in your mind, that image of a younger Bowder, as I invite the grown-up version of Bowder to come and share some words about his class. Please help me in honoring Bowder Vlas, the class historian.
So before I even begin the speech, I'd first like to thank Mr. G for having a real impact on my life and for paying me $20 to say that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Volpe. I am honored to have been elected class historian of the class of 2017. And I am proud to tell you about the Dragons of 2017. So, you all know me. I'm constantly daydreaming, and I'm always wondering whether Superman or Batman would win in an archery contest, whether my dogs can understand me when I tell them I love them, and whether the world would move if every human got on one side of the hemisphere and jumped. So naturally I'm sitting at my desk, right? Thinking about what I can say about this class, and my mind starts to wander. It just drifts. And I'm looking at the list of my classmates, and I cannot help but wonder who would win a Hunger Games. I really started to think about it, and I just can't decide who would win. So let me go through this alphabetically, okay? Firstly, Akash, man, I bet you already have some sort of master plan about how to win the game. Every time I look at you, I see the gears moving and working in your head. There is no way you don't already have some sort of master plan. Nanaka, I can see you hiding in the trees somewhere, sniping us all with that bamboo dart gun. We see you with your lightning-fast trumpet fingers, and we can hear the sheer lung capacity. And of course, you plus a bamboo dart gun is bad news for everyone. Sakura, who would want to fight you? You're just too adorable on the outside with that bright smile. But I bet you have a dark side too. You would betray us all with that smile on your face. Yuki, you would build some of the most elaborate traps that we will ever see. You'd become the ultimate trap master. Matthew, yours was fairly simple. You would outlast all of us. You'd find the perfect hiding spot, and you'd sleep until the whole thing finished. Kim, you'd be the most elaborate camouflage artist. You'd blend in with your surroundings until some poor soul walked by and you pounced. Sung-yoon, oh wait, no, sorry. James, you would be the ultimate ninja. Footsteps like feathers on the forest floor. We wouldn't realize you were behind us until we heard the whistle of your dagger. Emily Mahan, oh wait, again, Sung-yoon. You'd somehow build a giant catapult and team up with Yuki to catch us, then shoot us out of that catapult. Emily Mahan, you're always acting so quiet in class, but I've known you for 12 years, And I remember watching you and Micah play a Sims game just to see how many ways you could kill the Sims. All right, Benjamin, your game could go 2 ways, all right? The first way is you'd either be an absolute athletic beast, or the second way is you'd use Emily as your human shield. Yeah, I remember when you did that in the haunted hospital. We all know you were scared, but frankly, I'm sad I didn't think about it first. Abby, you would beat us all with your hand-to-hand combat, and you would gain your edge with your ferocious competitiveness. Andreas, you're a master in biology and chemistry that practically speaks for itself. Jillian, your ability to push yourself to greater and greater heights will make you the most unpredictable wild card in the game. Tanara, I bet you already know everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and you'd use your observations to outsmart everyone and win the game. And then, after that, you'd start a monopoly on the only water supply and beat us with your economics mojo. Emily Swanson, you're the strongest and most well-balanced individual I know. You would beat us all by pulling the long game, except for maybe Matthew, who's still sleeping. Micah, my twin sister. You're agile, smart, and fast. And I mean, you've read all the Hunger Games books like 5 or 6 times each, so you're already better prepared than all of us. Wong, I mean, you're already super strong, but I bet after the army, you're going to be able to hurl giant boulders at us. And your nickname would be the ferocious giant of the arena. Ami, there is no one more graceful or agile than you. You would dazzle us all with your sword work, and while we stare mesmerized at that space you used to occupy, you would deal the final blow. And then, finally, we get to me. See, I don't have high hopes for myself because I'm pretty sure I get distracted by a beautiful butterfly and die in the first 5 minutes. But, you know what? Even though I can stretch my imagination, none of these scenarios feel right. I wouldn't doubt for a second our Hunger Games would be the most boring Hunger Games ever. Why? Because while we each have unique strengths that could help us theoretically win our Hunger Games, we all possess another important characteristic: empathy. As a grade, we have cultivated a supportive environment, not just for ourselves, but also the grades beneath us. As a senior class, we have achieved something spectacular. We have created and maintained an environment that is difficult to construct and even harder to maintain. Because it's easy to be the bad guy, and it's easy not to care about the guy that's next to you. But throughout my 12 years, I've never seen this environment break once. As I look at all of you, I can tell you this: you can all hold your heads up high and know that you're all fantastic people I'm proud to call my friends. Finally, before I finish off my speech, I would like to say that it has been an honor and a privilege to be a part of this grade. And as all of you seniors go out into the world, remember that be the change in your environments and don't let your environment change you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to announce the Golden Dragon Awards. The Golden Dragon Award is presented to graduates who've enrolled at SCIS for 8 years or more. This year, the class of 2017 is proud to include 3 Golden Dragons. Emily Mahan, Micah Vlas, and Wouter Vlas started at SCIS together in the 1st grade in August of 2005. They have the distinction of having attained their entire primary and secondary education here at SCIS. In the 12 years that they have walked the hallways of SCIS, they've contributed to the lives of this school in many ways, both in and out of the classroom. They've left their distinctive touches all over the campus. Emily, the artist, became the go-to graphic designer, and you'll still see her work in the publicity posters on display outside the theater. Micah served as editor and lead writer for the Long Talk Humor magazine, and her service as president of student council set a standard for years to come. Wouter excelled at humor, added that part, ASAs, and whether he was on the sports field or leading the MUN delegation as an SCIS Dragon. Not only have these 3 students than the consummate dragons. They stand with the whole Mahan and Vlas families, whose ongoing commitment to both the class of 2017 and SCIS as a whole has produced an unbroken line of support from their time as grade 1 room parents through to their time as senior prom committee decorating gurus. I'd like to now welcome Emily, Micah, and Wouter to come and accept their award.
This is my first year at SCIS, and I have loved getting to know this class. It's a bittersweet night for me. I'm so proud of what this group has accomplished, and I know they are ready to graduate, and they are ready for the world, but I wish I had a little more time with them. The Renaissance Award is presented to a student selected by the principals under the advisement of the high school faculty, whose contributions to the intellectual, athletic, social, and cultural life of SCIS have most enlivened our school. The recipient personifies the qualities which define the Renaissance spirit, specifically enthusiastic activity along literary, artistic, athletic, and cultural lines. The student will have a record of involvement in school activities and a strong academic record. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Jillian Rowland. During the first few weeks of August, one of my main goals was to get to know by first name all the members of this class. And Jillian was easy to remember quickly. I would say, okay, Jillian, the one with the smile, Jillian. But it took me a couple more weeks to find out how much Jillian has to smile about. At the Papa Welcome Back barbecue, I, for the first time, saw her on the trombone, playing with the jazz band. And I was like, okay, Jillian, she's a musician. Got it. Boxed. Then I sat down with her to have our first CAS interview, and she was telling me about all the activities. She told me about the service project in Tanzania that she completed last summer. She told me about her work with student council. She told me about how committed she was to the math club. She's an HL math student. She loves an elegant solution to a complex problem, and she is excited when she talks about math. So I'm thinking, okay, I understand, mathematician, musician, it's a pretty common combination, I see. Then I went to my first volleyball game. Jillian is a consummate athlete. During her 2-year diploma program, she played varsity sports all 6 seasons, which is phenomenal. She was the captain of the volleyball team. She was a leader all the way. She plays hard. She plays strong. She's a fantastic leader to the girls coming up, and she was the leader of 2 Acamus championship teams this year. Jillian does everything. So it is my pleasure to present this true Renaissance woman, the best of what Dragon Spirit is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, class of the 2017, the winner of the 2017 Renaissance Award, Ms. Jillian Rowland.
I'd first like to thank Ms. Shanks and the class of 2017. I would like to start with a quote by photographer Mario Testino. He says, "My favorite words are possibilities, opportunities, and curiosity. I think if you're curious, you create opportunities. And if you open the doors, you create possibilities. This quote is very true for me and to my fellow classmates. I was only able to receive the Renaissance Award because of the possibilities and opportunities SCIS has gave me. I'm grateful to have been involved in a lot of after-school activities. But it wasn't just me. Any of my classmates could have really won this award. Today, I want to talk about the opportunities that SCIS has given me. The opportunities SCIS that gave us and the opportunities that lie ahead. Whether a student is a beginner or an expert, at SCIS, teachers and coaches encourage us to participate and pursue any of our interests. It was hard balancing the IB and all of our hobbies, but I wouldn't change a thing about my high school experience. All of the opportunities we have received have made us into who we are today. We've cheered for Wouter in volleyball, Ben in basketball, Matthew in soccer. We've been amazed at Abby's dedication to boxing, traveling 2 hours back and forth twice a week. Over the years, we've admired the way James, Songyun, Kim, and Matthew attend academy at night and on weekends. It's a school with even more homework. I've always been amazed with my friends who go there. We have Tanara in the dance team and Micah as the president of student council, and you can see Emily Mahan's posters around the school for the upcoming performances. Our graduating class does it all. And after today, the opportunities will keep coming. Akash is pursuing engineering. Ami and Anako are going into economics. Kim is heading to art school. Wong will be a famous director someday, but after he has to go to the Singaporean military. And Emily Schwanzer, she'll run Nike's publicity team. The number of possibilities we have by being at an international school is crazy. I know if I'm on any continent, well, maybe besides Antarctica, I'll be able to visit someone. We'll be able to visit the non-touristy sites and have local food, no matter where we are. There have been many times when I've been with my friends in Shanghai where we've got to try local foods. Last year, David Lee, a fellow classmate, was visiting, and a few of us met him at East Nanjing Road. He took us down a sketchy side street, told us we were about to have some great dumplings. But when we got into this hole-in-the-wall dumpling shop, there wasn't a single person who spoke English. And the menu didn't even have pictures. So we gave David money, we hoped for the best, and prayed we didn't get food poisoning the next day. When he came back, we did have some of the best dumplings I've ever eaten. Since all of us will be scattered around the world next year, eating different local foods, with only 19 of us, let's start making the travel plans now. Songyun and James, I expect to eat the best Korean barbecue next year. Sakura, Emily Mahan has talked non-stop about this robot cafe, and I want to go. Yuki, find you the best Tex-Mex place you can find. And Andreas, I haven't heard great things about Danish food, so prove me wrong. I cannot thank my friends enough for all these awesome dumpling hut adventures, from the Actimus tournaments to the math competitions in Suzhou, to China trips all over the country, to getting to bond with everyone over our IB exams. There's nothing like bonding with everyone when we come out of the IB exam room and realizes either we did really well or just messed up. I will never forget when we finished one of our math HL papers and 4 out of 5 of us had different answers. Some were positive and some were negative. We'll see in July who was correct. These have just been a few memories that we've shared. I'm so thankful for the opportunities I've been given and will forever cherish the memories that have come from them. And like Mr. Schultz Cylinders, we are graduated. And as we begin our next voyage, think, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Thank you.
parents and other honored guests. The International School Foundation was established in 1989 and has developed schools in Indonesia, China, Australia, and South Africa. And this award that I'm presenting today is a reflection of the ethos and values of our foundation. I'll talk about the criteria. Each year, the directors of the foundation ask faculty in the respective campuses to select a student who is a good representative of their own host country, respects and appreciates the life and culture of China, appreciates diversity and breadth of the nations represented in our school community, Usually we have anywhere from 30 to 50 nationalities represented in one of our campuses, is able to converse in at least 2 languages, and has been a contributing force in the life of the school, and has shown the ability to bring people of differing backgrounds together, fostering a sense of community, thus furthering the cause of international understanding. Sakura Ikuchi came to SCIS from Japan during her 8th grade year, speaking very little English. Her first international school experience, of course. And since her first day as a dragon, she has been very open-minded and caring and exemplifying a high sensitivity and emotional intelligence that allows people who are new to feel respected and included. The faculty talk about incidents in her 4.5 years here where she has made particular students, one girl from Spain by the name of Gemma, was a special project of hers that, and the way you make people feel special is making sure they feel included. So I think all of us that come to a foreign country, we will not be sensitive to what discussions around us perhaps are conversations, etc., what they're saying, but Sakura was sensitive enough to bring people into their circle and make sure that they didn't just speak Japanese with their friends, but they spoke a common language. And, you know, that is what we try to foster from our board of directorship, the idea of community, the idea of inclusiveness and belonging. Of course, as parents, and as a parent myself, we value all aspects of a school program, certainly the academic and the extracurricular, etc. But the ability to come to a graduation, as I do every year, and see the easy camaraderie between the graduates in a class like this. So fortunate to be able to mix in a community like this, and the experiences that you've had over the course of your tenure at the school will serve you as you move through your individual lives and careers. Unfortunately, it'd be very hard to get this group together again. You know, when you leave Shanghai and you go your separate ways in the various schools around the world, you probably never will get together as 19 graduates again. And that's all the more important reason to treasure the experiences you have, and to have people like Sakura that understands the value of making people feel wanted and that they belong. I understand Sakura wants to become a teacher, and I think that sounds like an ideal career for someone of her background. I hope you'd consider to come back and teach here someday. Matter of fact, I'm giving you an offer. And as long as you can, of course, China's making more and more difficult to get a work permit, but I'm sure you'll be able to pass that criteria. I also would like to extend congratulations to your parents for producing a child like you. And I would say that for all the parents in the community. And it's always a special time. A lot of times we get people from various countries that don't have a tradition of high school graduation. And people, I think, always leave a ceremony like this impressed that their children have evolved into the adults that they are sitting on the stage in front of you today, and I extend the appreciation and congratulations to the parents as well. Anyway, it gives me great pleasure to award the ISF International Understanding Award to Sakura. Would you come forward?
Thank you, Mr. Bali and the ISF Board of Directors. I am honored to accept this award. My SCIS life started 4 years ago in April 8th grade. I remember there were so many surprises in the first week of school. The binders provided by the school had 3 holes, but in Japan we used 2 holes. At SCIS, we were required to use calculators in math class. We do use calculators in Japan, but never in math class. These differences fascinated me, but I was frightened. In my first week, I had to watch an English news program and speak about it in front of the class. I had a laptop that I didn't know how to use. I was no good at English. In Japan, we just studied grammar. I relied on 2 other Japanese classmates, Risa and Anki. They were positive, and they helped me. They made me positive too. Classes were hard, but at SCIS, community is as important as academics. SCIS Dragons are kind and caring. I've always felt comfortable in this community. Bonds between students in our grade became stronger when we started our IB program. Since this program is quite tough, we all go through it together. Before our first IB music recital, I remember Abby, Jillian, and I were trying to get rid of stress and nerves by listening to Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Since the content we learned in classes were so hard, I needed to take a long time reviewing and completing assignments. And honestly, I was stressed. But I remember in our biology after-school sessions, Mr. Dobson helped Nanako, Ami, and I be more positive about our final IB exam. So many times, I went to Mr. O'Reilly during his planning period without an appointment, and he was happy to help me with economics. I remember I asked a lot of questions about macroeconomics. On the other hand, I had some class activities that I adored so much, such as helping in the ECE class. Some students were so shy at first that they didn't want to talk to me. Once they opened their door of their hearts, they started to smile at me and talk to me. Even Miss Megan was surprised when little Juliana started to speak at me. In the ECE, I could relax, but also experience teaching. Now I hope to become a teacher in the future. I can thank Ms. Megan enough for providing me such a wonderful place to experience early childhood education. Another class experience was our grade 12 China trip. I remember visiting the Center for Disabled Children. I had a child who punched himself, so Emily Mahan and I each had to walk up and down the street beside the center together. We go through it by collaborating and cooperating. I was unsure about the actions that I took, and so does everyone else, but the staff were smiling at us, the children liked us, and we were glad to help. Throughout my SCIS life, Ami, Nanako, and Kim are the ones who always make me laugh. I can't thank 3 of you enough for that. Thank you so much. My parents are always on my side. Sometimes I was too busy, almost giving up, but they cheered me on. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. Class of 2017, I am already so sad that we aren't classmates anymore. But I am so happy that the 19 of us are graduating today, and concluding one chapter of our lives. Each of us will need to move on to the next stage and make our dreams come true. In my case, I will go back to Japan to become a teacher and pour into my new communities everything that I learned from this wonderful community at SCIS Pudong. Thank you very much.
He delivered graduation speech while balancing in heels on a step stool. That would definitely go to Sephora. Our next award goes to the recipient of the Academic Excellence Award, and this award goes to the student that not only has the highest grades. The guidelines of this award require the recipient to reflect consistent industry, genuine intellectual curiosity, perseverance in adversity, and a burgeoning love of learning. Micah Bloss truly represents these qualities in their highest form. Perseverance and love of learning are two qualities that I would like to highlight this evening. Many of you may have attended the Ivy Art Exhibition and experienced Micah's work firsthand. What you may not know was that Micah was challenged to change her work only days before the art exhibition because of concerns regarding explicit content. Rather than give up or dwell on the obstacle, Micah accepted the challenge as something to overcome, eventually creating an even more conceptual and provocative piece while also satisfying the concerns about the content. Only someone with Micah's intellectual acumen, work ethic, creativity, and temperament could have taken this challenge as an opportunity to push herself to achieve even greater, higher heights. This perseverance in times of adversity is, in part, inspired by a driving curiosity to understand and explain the world around her. Micah's love of learning is best described by the looks on her teachers' faces at the mere mention of her name. These expressions convey admiration, awe, and appreciation for Micah in a way that goes beyond words. During our senior luncheon yesterday, teachers and students took turns exchanging messages of appreciation with a few roastings sprinkled in. Miss Murphy had the honor of speaking about Micah. Since I know I can't rival Miss Murphy's homage to Micah, I will borrow the sentiment that stuck with me from her message. Micah, your curiosity and love of learning is infectious. You make all of us want to learn more and be more. Thank you. Please join me in honoring Micah Bloss as the recipient of this year's Academic Excellence Award.
Thank you, Dr. Volpe, class of 2017, and audience members. As has been mentioned before in the ceremony, I came to SCIS when I was 6 years old. I was in first grade, had long, stiff, flowing locks, wanted to become a crime-fighting ballerina. I was going to be the most graceful, gun-bearing, tutu-wearing police officer the world had ever seen. Upon realizing that I was not nearly graceful enough to be a ballerina, let alone catch big bad fugitives while doing pirouettes, my jelly bean-sized heart was broken. When I finally had to let my dream go, you can imagine that my first day of 11th grade was rough. I had to find more realistic aspirations. Thanks, Mom. Despite this traumatic moment of clarity, however, my time at SCIS has been truly spectacular. I grew up learning to play trombone in the music room with Miss Ramsey. I grew up learning how to do a layup in the gym with my teammates. I grew up debating the realness of perception in Mr. Mack's TOK class. I grew up here at this school, and this school has taught me so much more than what was just in the classroom. In this gym, I learned how to play volleyball. Yes, I learned how to spike the ball. Yes, I learned the proper setting technique. And yes, I learned that I could not touch the net on the way down from my block. But the two most important things I learned came from my coaches, Coach Sokola and Coach Vic. We were losing when Miss Sokola gathered us into a circle by roughly 10 points. She reminded us that to win a set, one team needs to reach 25 points. Neither team moves on to the next point, though, until someone makes a mistake. In volleyball, mistakes need to happen for the game to continue. At the beginning of this year, Coach Vic asked us what the most important point of volleyball was. We threw out our best guesses, spitballed answers of having fun, team spirit, and improving. He told us that we were wrong. Middle school PE was a lie. He told us that the most important point of volleyball was the next one. Because if we were too hung up on the one point we had just lost, we wouldn't be able to focus on the one that's coming. And if we weren't able to do that, then we would surely lose that one too. I learned in this gym that there was no time to endlessly dwell on my mistakes because every chance I would get to prove myself afterwards was going to pass me by. In my biology class, I had a profound realization that echoed the lesson my coaches taught me. I've twisted my ankles about 5 times each, and every time I twist it, I get frustrated that I have to sit out the next game. It's easy to get mad at our bodies for not working right. It's frustrating when your nose stuffs up, it's frustrating when you pull a muscle. But sitting in biology class next to Nanako, Sakura, Kim, Ami, we learned about homeostasis, the tendency for living things to seek out a balanced state. We have hormones in our bodies that will speed up and slow down our metabolisms to bring us back to 37 degrees constantly. We have little sacs of digestive fluids that will break down other malfunctioning cells to keep our tissues running smoothly. And I have ankles that will repair themselves time and time again to make sure I am still able to walk. In biology class, I learned that although the body is strong for all of the functions it's able to carry out, it is equally strong for all of the mishaps it's able to correct. On this stage, I performed for middle school and high school band, dance company, and many plays. The one thing I absolutely hated about the performance process with auditions, there is nothing that makes me more nervous than walking into the audition room, knowing someone is about to judge how good you are at something. I was a wee freshman when I walked into the dance studio downstairs to audition for All Shook Up. I was terrified. I remember someone asking, "Why are you so nervous? Auditions are the easiest part," and immediately thinking, "Why are you so nervous? Auditions are the easiest part." Despite still holding a grudge about that, the question stuck with me. I wondered for a while why auditions were so scary, until I realized that it was not the audition that scared me, but the possibility of failure. Whether it's making a mistake playing basketball, volleyball, or soccer, twisting my ankles yet again, or getting rejected after an audition, the idea of failure makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I get the same gut-wrenching feeling of discomfort at the thought of being unprepared for a test, of putting on a weak Java jam, or of publishing a bad long talk issue. But the thing is that I failed anyways. I couldn't avoid it. But every failure pushed me to grow because growth doesn't happen when you stay comfortable. You become a better volleyball player for every time you make a mistake and lose a point, because no one learns to overhand serve without missing it the first 50 times. Bodies become stronger with every disease they fight off because no one comes out of the womb with an ironclad immune system. As J.K. Rowling once said, it is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. So today, I stand on the same stage that many of my peers and I have performed on. I stand on this stage alongside a group of such incredible individuals as we all graduate today. Our failures have taught us much and helped us become a class I am proud to be a part of. Our failures were what allowed us to become the people able to accomplish the things that we have. 2 years ago, we were awarded the best delegation at an MUN conference in Dubai. We have placed 3rd, 2nd, and 1st in many ACMA sports tournaments. We have traveled to Hong Kong as a middle school jazz band to play in Hong Kong Disneyland. We have put on amazing Java jams, proms, and de-stress fests. We have placed in the top 25% of the problem-solving round in the Suzhou math competition, and we have created stunning works of art in the National Art Honor Society. And today, we graduate. So thank you, SCIS, for allowing us to fail.
Thank you, Micah. That's a hard act to follow. One of our favorite graduation traditions is the selection by the graduates of a faculty representative to speak to the graduating class. And this year's faculty representative is Garrett Newell. So Mr. Newell grew up on a small farm in the foothills just outside San Diego, California. He received his bachelor's degree in geography along with a minor in athletic coaching from the University of California, Santa Barbara. and before continuing on to earn his single subject mathematics teaching credentials from Sonoma State in California. After learning he might never make a living as the starting shortstop for the San Diego Padres, he reluctantly decided to begin a career in international education. So Garrett arrived at SCIS in 2008, and he had an intention of staying, 3 or 4 years. Nice master plan, but master plans have a way of changing. And so this June will now mark his 9th year here at SCIS. And to use another baseball analogy, he had another curveball come his way. His master plan of internationalness stretches a little longer, and he announced to all of us that he's engaged to be married this July. So I think that's Mr. Newell has helped make SCIS what it is. Known for his dry wit, he has been an intense math teacher and a dedicated soccer coach, or maybe that's the other way around. And as department chair of our math program, he's led SCIS in both the development of our diploma program and our MYP. And for whatever reason, the San Diego Padres passed on Mr. Newell. It's really their loss in SCIS's game. Please join me in welcoming this year's speaker.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, graduates. Really quickly, I wanted to go back to something that Dr. Volpe mentioned earlier in that yesterday we were treated by Ms. Shanks and Ms. Kelly and a few of the senior parents to a luncheon with all the diploma program teachers and the seniors you see on stage today, where we were able to reminisce about the last two, 4, and many more years before that. There were a lot of beautiful short stories shared. There was a lot of laughs, and there was a lot of even more tears, which I think goes a long way to say just how special this class has been to SCIS. So to you guys, to have selected me to stand up here and address you today is a huge honor to me. So thank you so much. It's something I'm never going to forget. So thank you. All right. Before I begin, guys, I just want to ask you all one question. Are you a little bit nervous today? Probably. Well, don't feel bad if you are. I think it's completely natural to be a bit anxious when you're sitting on the cusp of one of the most significant changes that you've gone through in your young lives. In fact, what I'd like to talk to you about today is just that. The idea of changes in our lives and how we might best internalize them. Now, as a math teacher, I spend an awful lot of time thinking about change. In fact, change is essentially what mathematics is all about. In calculus, we study something called a derivative. The derivative represents the rate of change of a variable compared to the rate of change of another. And in geometry, we look at the transformations of images as different shapes undergo changes in size, position, and orientation. And in statistics, we look at the change in different quantities over time in order to make vital predictions and decisions about our futures. Now, of course, these changes come in many different forms. Some of these changes are big, and some of them are small. Some changes are positive, and some of them are negative. And sometimes, a change isn't really even a change at all. And in math, this is what we refer to as a constant. Now, don't worry, guys. I'm not going to stand up here for the next 5 minutes and talk about math, okay? You didn't make a huge mistake in selecting me. My sincerest apologies, Jillian. But, just like in mathematics, the changes that we experience in life can come in many different forms. And regardless of the type of change, it is something we must deal with consistently throughout our lives. And how we deal with these adjustments can go a long way in shaping our happiness and our attitudes about our own lives. So on this day of great change in your lives, I'd like to share with you some of the significant changes that have helped to shape mine. Now, like I said before, there are all types of changes we experience in life. And similar to the transition that you're going through today, Some of these changes can be mysterious and unexpected. When I was 9 years old, my parents informed me that I would not be spending my summer vacation playing baseball in my neighbor's backyard, or riding my bike around town with my friends, or swimming in the backyard pool with my brother. Instead, we would be getting on an airplane, which I had never done before, and traveling to a small South American country called Paraguay to visit some cousins. At the time, of course, I was not pleased, and I was also a little nervous. But within hours of landing in Paraguay, my stomach had been filled with delicious, exotic foods. My ears had been treated to exciting new sounds. And obviously, I quickly found myself fully immersed in a game of soccer on the cobblestone streets with the neighborhood kids. I was hooked. My parents had given me the travel bug. This sudden and unexpected change in my life has led to my love of traveling, which inspired me to become an international teacher, and is of course why I'm standing in front of you guys today. Now, unfortunately, some changes in life are horribly sad. When I was 18 years old, about the same age as most of you guys, I lost my older brother in a car accident. This was the single most tragic and life-changing event that I have ever gone through. The sorrow and the grief that followed are pretty much unimaginable. But even through this horrible tragedy, I was able to learn a lot about some valuable lessons. I learned how I could count on the loved ones in my life to help me through the darkest times. I learned about perseverance, about how to keep my head up when times are tough. I learned to appreciate the value of my own life and to never take things for granted. And most of all, I learned that no matter how bad things get, with a little bit of effort and a lot of time, they will get better. But thankfully, some changes in life are extremely happy. And as Mr. Luby alluded to, I'm getting married this summer. Now, I have been assured by many of my friends who are already married that now I can expect several significant changes in my day-to-day life. But it is through this transition that I will be allowed to both give and receive the unconditional love and support in my life that will allow me to fully become the person that I know I can be. I greatly look forward to this next big change in my life. Now, you guys will go through a lot of different types of changes in your lives. And as I've said, it is change itself that has the power to shape your futures. This just depends on how you are able to accept these changes. But don't be nervous, guys, and here's why. You guys are already experts in change. Simply by the fact that you are up here today means that at some point in your lives, you've had to change countries, you've had to change friends, many of you have had to change languages, and many of you have had to change schools. Except maybe Micah and Emily and Daughter. I think they've pretty much always been there. You get my point. My point, guys, is that in your lives, change has been a constant. So again, there is no reason for you to be nervous today. You all have the ability to accept the changes in your life and to have them be positive influences on your futures. So congratulations, class of 2017. You've done it. And I'm extremely jealous because college is really awesome. So enjoy it. I wish you guys the best of luck out there, and please remember, don't ever be afraid of change. Thank you.
Okay, we've reached a big moment of truth, the conferring of diplomas. At this time, I'd like to call forward SCIS Director of Schools Dan Estruth, our upper school principal, Dr. Frank Volpe, our upper school vice principal, Naomi Shanks, to join me in giving our graduates their SCIS diploma. Reading the names, I'd also like us to please welcome our counselor, Ms. Maya Kelly. Parents, if you'd like to come forward and take a photograph or get a good angle at a photograph, you're more than welcome to do so. And graduates, congratulations.
First row, please rise. Akash Anand. Nanako Higuchi. Sakura Ikeuchi. Yuki Kameyama. Youngmook Kang. Hyunjin Kim. Jungmin Kim. Sangyun Lim. Emily Mei-Ling Mahan. First row, please be seated. Second row, please rise. Benjamin Howard Meacham III. Abigail May Merritt. Andreas Fries Reisiger. Jillian Catherine Rowland. Tanara Segal. Amelia Pulling Schwanzer. Micah Iris Blas. Wouter Auke Blas. Wang Hui. Ami Yamazaki. First row, please rise.
The graduation ceremony, and we're about to come upon one of them. The movement of the graduation tassel on your to indicate to the entire community that you have indeed officially graduated. So seniors, at this time, I ask you to take your tassels and move them from the right to the left. Wait, one more time. I'm sorry, I have one more announcement. I almost jumped the gun there. Sorry. Certainly, this is a very important day for our whole community. So I first want to say thank you for coming out. Take a community to achieve some of the outstanding students you see there, the 19 of them. We couldn't be prouder, and it takes everyone to make that happen. So whether it's just today or throughout their career, thank you for being a part of raising them here in SCIS. There's a few quick announcements before we conclude today's ceremony. Firstly, as I said, the recessional will be through this aisle in case you want a photo. And I would like everyone I want to remind everyone, if you don't know, another graduation ceremony is kind of the traditional tossing of the caps. That will take place immediately after this ceremony on the soccer field. So please join us for that. It's a great photo opportunity and a great way to celebrate. And then please join us in the cafeteria. We're having a reception. We'd love to stay and congratulate and meet and hug and cry and do all the things that we should on a great day like today. So once again, thank you for coming out. The graduating class of 2017. Thank you.